What is up, guys? I am back with some Week 12 picks. Let's quickly recap last week. I went 8-6, so not great, but it wasn't bad. My total record is 99-61, so pretty close to 100 correct predictions this year. Again, not a great record, but it's alright. So I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. This week, I picked out some games that I think might be a little bit closer, a little harder to predict, and I kind of just am going to state, who I think will win for some of the more obvious ones, because you really shouldn't be looking for upsets in those. Now, this won't be off of like the Vegas betting line or anything, but let me know what you guys think. I'll go back to the normal straight up picks if you guys don't like it, but if you do, then I'll just keep doing it this way. So Thursday night, Thanksgiving actually, so we got the Vikings and the Lions, and I like the Vikings in that one. That's a straight up pick. And then here we go with the first one I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on. We got the Chargers at the Cowboys. The Cowboys, of course, without Ezekiel Elliott. And without Ezekiel Elliott, they are not a good team, apparently. They lost 27-7 to Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and 37-9 to Philadelphia. So both pretty good offenses, but as you see, their offensive production is not good. 7 points versus Atlanta, 9 points versus Philly. That's not very good. The Chargers are coming off a massive win versus Buffalo, like 54-24, I believe. I don't know why Buffalo benched Tyrod Taylor, but we'll move on from that. The offenses in this game are statistically almost identical. They're right next to each other. So it's kind of going to end up, the defense is going to determine who's going to win. Chargers have a terrible run defense, but that shouldn't matter versus the Cowboys right now. I'd say if Ezekiel Elliott was there, Cowboys would win pretty easily, but instead I like the Chargers over the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Giants at Redskins. I like the Redskins. Giants could pull an upset, but I feel like the Redskins are a good enough team to not let the Giants win like Kansas City did. Moving on to the Sunday games, we got the Bills at the Chiefs. This is another one I'll go more in depth on. Bills, I can't figure out that team. Either they really want a bad draft or a good draft pick, or they want to make it to the playoffs. Who knows? But benching Tyrod Taylor, like I said, don't know why they did that. That's the key reason why they really, really lost versus the Chargers. But yeah, both these teams, the Chiefs and the Bills, had really bad weeks this last week. Buffalo's defense is falling like a rock. It is so bad. They were at one point, I think, top 5 in points per game allowed, which is great. Now they're like not even mid-pack. They're below mid-pack. So they are not doing well on defense. So it's going to be up to the offenses, because Kansas City's defense isn't very good either. Kansas City's offense is much stronger than Buffalo's. It's like 6th in the league versus 6th worst in the league. So I'll expect Alex Smith to manage this game. They're at home, and I'll take the Chiefs in that one. Panthers at Jets. I like the Panthers. Bears at Eagles. Eagles for me. Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots. There's not a lot of explanation needed there. Those are 3 of the best teams in the NFL, and I think they'll win again this week because their matchups are pretty easy. Now, Buccaneers at Falcons. These are 2 teams that are actually coming in fairly hot. The Bucs winning a couple games, I think, in a row. Falcons beating the Seahawks in CenturyLink Field, or the Seahawks home field. That's really, really impressive. That was kind of funny how close that field goal was at the end, but anyways, yeah, they won the game. A win is a win. The Falcons have the 10th best defense and the 10th best offense. That's better than the Buccaneers on both sides of the ball. And yeah, they're looking a little bit more like the last year's team that made it to the Super Bowl. So I'll take the Falcons in that one. Bengals Browns. I like the Bengals. And then we got the Titans at the Colts. Now, the Colts have been kind of surprising. They've put up a fair amount of points this year. Like, they've fought some teams pretty closely that you wouldn't think they could fight. As for Tennessee, I don't know, they're another weird team that one week they're great, the next week they are one of the worst teams in the NFL. But Tennessee won the first matchup. This one's going to be pretty similar, except Indy's at home. The Colts defense is just much worse than the Tennessee defense, so I'll take the Titans. Seahawks at 49ers. Seahawks, for me, that one's an obvious one. And then the Saints at the Rams. This is the game of the week, that's for sure. Saints coming in 8-game win streak. I have no clue how they pulled off the game versus the Redskins. That was crazy. I basically assumed that the Redskins had won that game until I checked later, and it was like, whoa. But the Rams, I mean, tough loss in Minnesota. Minnesota clearly the better team in that game. Looking statistically at these teams, this might help you make your decision. The Rams are the 6th best defense. New Orleans is the 10th best defense. The Rams are the 2nd best offense. New Orleans is the 3rd best offense, but New Orleans moves the ball the best in the league by a fair margin. So, all in all, New Orleans' offense to me is the best offense in the league right now. Rams are kind of falling, but I'm sure they will get back. The Saints' defense is good, but they do allow yardage. So, the Rams would be a totally viable choice to pick here. They're at home. They might win. I like the Saints. I think they're going to keep their streak alive. Like I said, great offense. The defense is coming on. We'll just see. The Rams struggled versus a team that, the Vikings, who had a really good offense and a fairly good defense. So, yep. Saints are my pick. And then we got the Broncos at the Raiders. And this one, I don't know if it's an upset or not, but the Broncos, I like them in this game. The Raiders, they just don't look the same as they did last year. They got destroyed by the Patriots, which I wasn't expecting that big of a destruction. And the Broncos, they got a new offensive coordinator, I believe. Paxton Lynch is going to be the starting quarterback. This is kind of a shift, and a lot of times when we see a shift, there can be a kind of, all of a sudden, like, boom, they're a better team. It might be the complete opposite, though. But the Raiders' defense is not that good. Broncos' defense remains one of the most elite, and I think that the Broncos' defense is really going to aid that inexperienced Paxton Lynch in this game. So I like the Broncos. Jags at Cardinals, I'll take the Jags. Packers at Steelers, I'll take the Steelers. I don't think the Packers got it in them to win. Texans at Ravens, I'll take the Ravens. That defense is just awesome. And that's the Monday night game. So those are my quick predictions for this week. Have a great Thanksgiving. Let me know what you think of them. And I'll see you next week.